right here, July of '06.
Just waited a little while to get licensed then. Okay.
Now, her original went to Texas, so she may have been in Texas for a while and then come back.
And just come back.
Coming back here.
Do we want to handle all three together? Nathan Drews?
Nathan is from UL, graduated in 2008. He works for an antique dealer in Breaux Bridge. And his NCIDQ exam was, he's one of the letters I sent out. His exam was passed, or he was notified in December of his exam passage.
Right, so he's just recently passed.
When was the last test they gave? It was
October. It's in April and October every year.
Actually, the next exam is, I believe, April the 3rd, right?
Yeah. And then actually, I say it every year. October. This next year, it will fall where one test day is in October and one day is in November. Yeah, just because of the weekend. And then the third one is
Emily Flagler.
Gaston Flagler, and actually she graduated from Auburn, so probably none of you know her. She is also, she works for Waring Architects, Waring, how do you say them? W-A-R?
They're in New Orleans?
Yeah, they're in New Orleans, on Carrollton. And she's also a, passed a while back. Her NCIDQ exam results were from 2002.
But she may not have been working in state.
Right, and she graduated in '99 from Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at her past work experience, she's worked in Atlanta, New York.
And now she's at Waring in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve Stephanie Robertson, Nathan Drews, and Emily Flagler? Gail moves and Carolyn seconds. Do we have any discussion about the applications? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries, and we welcome 3 new licensed interior designers. Next on the agenda is Hilda Day request to waive CEUs.
Yes, that's going to be. A little bit of background, we discussed Hilda previously. She is currently on inactive status. I believe it was at the last board meeting, she inquired as to the possibility of doing another 4 years of inactive. Anna advised us that it would not be a good precedent for the board to set, because if you allow her to do 2 complete, back-to-back stints, you'd have to allow it for everyone. The discussion at the meeting amongst you guys was that although you did not want her to continue doing inactive status, you would consider, because of her medical disabilities, waiving her CEU requirement. So I put that information in a letter and sent to her. She sent back, to whom it may concern, I was contacted by Sandy and told that it may be possible for me to continue my Louisiana interior designer's license without doing the continuing education credits. I have been on disability for about 10 years. I have genetic disorders and connective tissue issues. I can't work. A few years ago, I was feeling better and contacted disability to get permission to try to go back to work. I was able to work for a while until the stress made it impossible for me to continue. The disability office suggested that I not try again, as did my doctors. I'm requesting the ability to be able to pay my yearly annual dues without taking the continuing education credit. Little things such as taking quizzes can put me under stress. Graduating college and passing the exam was a great accomplishment for me. Although I am no longer able to work, I have a great amount of pride associated with my interior design license. I would be grateful if you would allow me to keep it. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. If this situation is acceptable to you, please let me know and I'll send in my dues. Many thanks, Hilda Marie Perkins Day.
Didn't we say, I thought we said she needed to go to take one thing and then let it ride for 4 years. Am I?
That was a possibility.
Yeah.
And then after all discussion was said and done, it came down to that you guys would let her request for her CEUs to be waived.
Okay.
She's not practicing. I've spoken to her on the phone several times. Several times. And she's at home. She's shared with me she is not able to contribute to her family's financial situation. She's not really able to contribute to even cooking dinner. But this is something that is a pride issue. That is the one thing that she says she can hold on to because she's had to give up everything else.
Inactive time?
Well, we have inactive. She's on inactive right now, but it's going to end next year.
Oh, I see.
So she wants to continue to have her license. She's not working. She just wants to be able to call herself an interior designer and keep her certificate and maintain her pride.
She's on the inactive,
She is on inactive.
and that's what she would continue to be, on inactive.
No, well, I don't know. Anna, help us out.
We had discussed that last time, was that she wanted another 4-year, up to 4-year period of inactivity.
Of inactivity.
And there was a problem with doing it back to back like that. It's not provided for in statute.
Oh.
So the theory was, well, let's let her come off for at least a year, get her CEUs, et cetera, up to date, and then she could request it back on. You know.
Do any of the people that we use for CEUs, or are there some, if they had like a video, she could watch the video, write a little report or something, say I saw this, but and send it back to us.
Or our CU,
Yeah,
have it, video, and then send it to her.
Well, I don't know who's going to tape all that, and if you want to keep it, but maybe we should have some kind of class that somebody could, I'm sure this is going to come up again, that you could send to, for somebody who loves design that much and just doesn't want to give.
She don't have to take a test. Just
No, well,
watch it.
there's never really a test.
Well,
for most of
Well,
them.
you're right.
There,
You're
I mean, there are obviously home studies, there are
The
online
books,
studies,
right.
et cetera, she could do.
But I mean, if that's taxing, just to be able to, I'm sure
You
she
don't
could
wanna
sit and watch
stress her
the video.
Yeah.
You know, she could watch a video on something. I mean, you know, there are. I wonder if what's the guy in Manuel Ponce, you know, the guy from Florida. Those classes, they gotta have something on it.
Well, and aren't there some in some of, do we allow the ones in magazines? You know, the CEUs
Like,
that you can read and then,
They're pocket CEUs.
Right.
El Decor has some of them.
Took a couple and I
we
ordered
do.
the books. Really easy.
I mean, it's a difficult issue. Let me ask a question, if she could
she'd be
do the
reinstated.
CEUs, you know, for a year, then she could go back on inactive status?
Yeah, for 4 more years. I think that's what.
Yeah, that was-
that's what-
Now,
That was the theory.
Can I jump in here? Because this is what you guys discussed at the last meeting. And then ultimately, you guys came down to, Anna said something about the board has the discretion to waive her CEUs. So that's the information that I sent to Hilda, not the option of do your CEUs and then
I
go to
think given
inactive
her
again.
health condition, we should just waive her CEU requirements.
For 1 year.
Just
Give
for
her a
1 year.
pass. Let her have her license. It means a lot to her. She's a very important part of our interior design community. Everybody knows her name.
You know, the other thing is, if we did this for a year, then we could actually
Put her back on.
have the CE committee research some CEs that might be
Yeah.
appropriate for disabled members.
People with health
Because you know they've got to be out there.
Right.
Right.
And I think we should offer them to our members. And so I think this is just expanding the offering we have and giving her some time.
That's fine.
So do we have a motion?
I motion to grant her a year with waiving CEUs.
And I second.
And Joanne seconded that. Any more discussion on it? I think we'll just tell the CEU committee that they need to do some research
On
into
videos or
CEs
something.
that are
But she's not
appropriate for
required.
disabled.
This would be
She's
for
not
the
required.
next time
This is
this
for
Right,
next
we would
year.
look
So
for
we're
it.
gonna-
And you will, Sandy, you'll explain to her that next year she'll have to watch
Apply
a
for
video or
or
something.
she'll apply for
She can reapply for inactive.
inactive status at
Right.
that point.
Okay, any more discussion on Hilda Day? All in favor?
Aye.
Deal. Opposed? Motion carries. So Sandy, are you gonna write a letter to Ms. Day?
Yes.
And you'll copy the board on that letter.
Yes, this is-
Thank you. NCIDQ report, that's me. As you know, my term as past president ended December 31st. And I got a text message from the board meeting saying, we miss you, and I thought, I've got some time back. But I am on the CE committee for NCADQ this year and also the nominating committee. And so none of those committees have actually geared up yet. In fact, I got my first conference call schedule request this week. So there really isn't much going on except that the exam is going to be April the 3rd, and it's going to be at LSU.
At LSU.
So it all got worked out with the administration and parking and all that stuff.
Yes, the only problem we had and it'll happen next year too. Every so often, the exam date, which is set kind of in stone, conflicts with a home game, which is a disaster. But we got that worked out, and it went very well.
Great. And NCADQ appreciates the facilities at LSU because there's room to spread out and whatnot. So more to report on that as the year wears on here. Public Education Task Force report, that would be Carolyn.
We had a conference call and a lot of good input from our Public Education Task Force. And the whole point of this conference call that was in January was to actually take tasks and assign them to volunteers. And we did have volunteers, so it was a good, good effort. So you got here in writing what we did. So we have people, Gingers, doing. You can just read what we're compiling definitions from the statutes to identify, what an architect does. An interior design, we already have our interior design definition in our statute, right? So we don't have to do that one. We just copy it right out of our statute. But this would be to pin down what these other folks in the built environment do. Then also we want to have a list of talking points so that it's an organized, succinct outline of points to talk about if someone in the interior design community, one of our registered interior designers, has an opportunity to talk in front of any kind of a group. Or even not a group, but just talking to an interested person. So it's just an organized kind of way to discuss what we do. Then develop a list of services, more of a, here's what we do, including the definitions of those services that interior designers perform. This again would be just another useful tool, and we have volunteers for that. Develop a list for the people that we want to contact. Okay, so we have now with this information organized who we're going to take it to. We have 2 people, Heidi and Drew, to develop that list. And then we have 3 or 4 people to do marketing ideas. Other than actually standing in front of a group and talking, how could we get this information about what we do out to the public? And we discussed radio, advertisement, television, magazine, those sorts of things. But there's lots of other things too, and they're going to come back with some marketing ideas. Again, our last thing was everybody was supposed to start thinking of a name that we could call ourselves. Public Education Task Force is fine with me, but I think they were looking for something a little more.
Yeah, they were talking about if they go the route of a website to educate the public, what would the website name be? So let's go with another. Let's find another interior design and acronym we can use, can we?
How many do we have now?
100 or 2.
Carolyn, do they have some of the talking points that were developed previously?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, like some of the studies that we've done.
We just did quite a bit of work at one point, and all that information has been gathered.
And the survey information from the survey,
information as well as the coalition information.
The coalition had a lot of that.
Yes, the coalition did that not too long ago.
So they've got the background information that we have.
What we're doing is compiling all that and putting it together in an organized fashion.
So when do you think y'all will have all that?
Well, we're kind of we had hoped to have another conference call, but because our board meeting got delayed for a couple of weeks, we've postponed that. So as soon as we've had this